is expected to end this Friday.
Contingency measures are to obtain Jet A1 fuel from other airports such as international sustainable optimal way to supply Cape Town is town resources. They are talking about 15 million liters each if one fuel stocks under detention, estimated 80 days worth of supply for affected islands.
Chief of Staff in the Police Ministry, Cedric Ngabinde, says he has submitted supplementary statements to the ad hoc committee looking into concerns of national security. Ngabinde is back before the committee after he was sent packing last week. He had admitted that the sum of his testimony relating to Police Minister Senzo Mchunu and Northwest businessman Brown Mokgotsi. EFF MP Leanne Mathis is seeking clarity between the main affidavit and the supplementary statement by Kabinde.
We have a supplementary statement of the witness, and we need clarity from the evidence leader why we have accepted a supplementary statement and whether it's legally sound and whether it's even procedural legally. Because the initial statement, we literally sent the witness home last week because we couldn't process or we couldn't continue rather with his statement. And then when you actually read the supplementary statement, the witness is indicating very clearly that he produced the statement under, well, not duress, but it was last minute. The evidence leaders weren't on time.
Independent economist Elise Kruger says inflation remains under control and close to the Reserve Bank's 3% target. Data released by Statistics South Africa shows that the consumer price inflation accelerated from 3.4% in September to 3.6% in October 2025. The data shows that food inflation has moderated compared to the previous month. However, meat prices remain elevated. Core inflation, which excludes volatile food, fuel, and energy prices, also declined to 3.1%. Kruger says the Reserve Bank is likely to cut interest rates by 25 basis points when it makes its rate announcement tomorrow.
So, particularly positive is the fact that food price inflation moderated further from a recent peak of 5.5% in July. Food price inflation is now down to 3.9%, and we actually had 3 consecutive months of declines in the food price basket's prices. From this point of view, I do think there's a window of opportunity for the Reserve Bank to cut interest rates tomorrow at the Monetary Policy Committee meeting. So I do expect a 25 basis point cut in the repo rate.
A key focus from the B20 summit in Johannesburg is the critical need for new financing methods to fund major climate change and just energy transition projects. Sanlam's Chief Sustainability Officer Abel Sakau says a business as usual approach to funding will not be enough to meet global obligations. Sakau is also a member of the Just Energy Transition Task Force. He emphasized the need to develop a blended finance approach combining public, private and philanthropic capital to fund large-scale transitions.
I think with the B20, one of the things that we realize that we have to rethink differently in terms of financing some of these projects because it's not a question of do we need them. It's a question that globally we need to implement this project and as quickly as possible if we need to meet our climate change obligations from a Paris Accord.
Recapping the top story, HIV prevention drug lenacapavir has been added to the Department of Health's National Essential Medicines list. I'm Ondilambana for SFM News Alliance at 1:30.
You could spend 10 minutes hunting for the TV remote or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 30754. Like 29-year-old Sana, who now pays an incredibly low 796 Rand a month for her 2025 Jetour Dashing. With Outsurance Comprehensive, you get 24/7 roadside assistance in case you break down, run out of petrol, lock your keys in the car, and more. SMS out to 30754. Get used to getting more. After switching, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month for her 2025 Hyundai Exter. Not an Outsurance client yet? Get a quick and easy quote today. If Outsurance can't beat what you're paying, ask them for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
Streaming Skim Sum on the way to class.
Catching the Premier League while waiting for your order.
Jamming to Metro FM before you even get out of bed.
On SABC Plus, sinayo yonke into ifunayo. Your shows, your music, your way, anytime, anywhere. Zero subscription fees.
On your phone, tablet, or smart TV.
Download SABC Plus on iOS or Google Play Store.
Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. Cloud that scales with your business, security that earns trust, AI for smarter, faster decisions, IoT that connects systems and people, and connectivity that bridges every gap. With these technologies working together, Vodacom Business is helping to build a better connected, future-ready South Africa. Visit vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
From the first bullet fired to the last betrayal uncovered, the battle for the Dutton legacy has left blood on the land and scars on every soul. We've seen loyalty tested, families torn apart, and enemies made in the name of power, pride, and survival. Now, as the dust settles and new threats rise, the question remains, how far will the Duttons go to protect their empire? Yellowstone, Season 5, the fight isn't over. It's just begun. Starts Tuesday, 18th November at 7 p.m. Only on S3.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Hey, warm welcome to you. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good day. Everything going in accordance to your plans thus far. Can you believe that it's only the 19th of November? I don't know. I'm kind of like in two minds with this month. I was saying to my producers the other week, I was like, yo, it feels like November is just, it's taking forever. It's taking the long scenic route, to get to the end of it. And then my producing team were like, no, 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 actually it's going just fine. It's going at the pace that it should be going at. So I don't know if that just it spells perhaps mental fatigue on my end. That I'm ready to call it December and put 2025 in the rearview mirror. Or maybe it speaks to other things because of everything that's been going on in the country. It's so difficult as we sort of sit here on the 19th of November, staring down the barrel of the Madlanga Commission, the parliamentary ad hoc, with just 3 days to go before the G20, all of the Donald drama that just keeps going and going and going. It's difficult to like. I was thinking, what were the headlines at the beginning of the year? What were we talking about in January, February, March? Because things just move. They move so quickly in this country. We're forever dealing with stuff. So I think, December, by the time December comes, we're all just in that collective for 2 weeks. We don't have to deal with anything. You know what I mean? But yeah, we've got a relatively short show today. We're going to catch up with Usbahle Mota. Because speaking of the Madlanga Commission, they are starting late today. They're starting at 2 and not the usual 9:30 a.m. start. And I think that's got to do with the fact that Tswani was blacked out this morning. Tswani had, in case you didn't know, Tswani had a widespread blackout this morning, but they've got the lights back on now. So I think the Madlanga just steered on the side of caution and decided to start a little bit later. We then also are going to be talking around raising awareness on World Prematurity Day because every baby counts. So we'll be talking to an OBGYN around that. And then we're looking at entrepreneurship. This is an ongoing conversation in South Africa, right? So we're looking at entrepreneurship as a matter of urgency in the country, and we're going to be talking to author Usiyabonga Magadla, who wrote Entrepreneurship: How a Matter now a matter of urgency, rather, the challenges, lessons, and opportunities. So that conversation is coming up today. It's just gone 10 past 1 o'clock. A quick pause, and then we come back in conversation with Usbal.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. This November, SAFM proudly presents the third annual lecture.
And as the Freedom Charter says, no legitimate government could claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. And I think sometimes people forget that.
SAFM invites you to our third annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser Muleketi. The theme of the lecture is Confronting Inequality, Corruption and Unemployment, Rebuilding South Africa's Social Contract for Inclusive and Sustainable Growth. The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Four Ways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on the Full Circle.
All right, let's catch up with Usbahle Mota, SABC news reporter, around the Madlanga Commission. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon to you, Bridget, and good afternoon.
Right. I mean, let's try and catch up a little bit around the commission. Today, we're supposed to be seeing Brian Mokhotsi coming back for day 2, but of course, the commission is delayed today with a delayed start, and they're starting after lunch at 2 o'clock. I'm guessing that that's got to do with the outage that Tswane woke up to this morning.
I'm not actually a Bridget.
Oh.
What? So what the British say or send out a statement last night just to say that I want to give Ramaphosa and his legal advisors some time to consider some of the documents from the commission exhibit window that they were not able to review. I think them some of that in the commission today at 12 o'clock. So we are hoping for the commission, to coming from his statement.
Oh, I still chuckle at yesterday. Let's recap a little bit on that, Sbahle. So we know that he told the commission yesterday that he was an agent of crime intelligence, whose role was to supply information to the unit.
No, definitely. I mean, I said I spoke to myself last night. I mean, what is it that Prime Minister has been was involved in our mining operations. Also told us that he was also one of the agents who, managed the successful extradition of Zulu as well as Mandela. And also, I mean, regarding this entire Ted Matala, estate agenda. So he has to, that's a very event at the commission. I mean, the integrity of his testimony will be today. So, contrary to what he was saying, and the center of the commission, obviously, that has been labeled against Kuno, as well as working with Ted Matala. And in certain instances, you are seeing that he seems to be playing like Ted Matala against a shadow to shake. And, he was about and and also from that tender from Ted Matala to sort of, entertain some of the people who are allegedly criminals. I think our witnesses subject to me only here or only some of how it's there.
Absolutely. One of the other things that came out yesterday was the wild allegation around the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, or Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi being an operative of the Central Intelligence Agency, and then it was backed up by utterance of
because he had trained in the US, the assumption is that he was a CIA agent. I mean, I don't even know where to begin, Sbahle.
No, definitely. I think he considered that
Mm,
as an as CIA wallet killed what that is. It's it's simply how much uh, in Zulu
mm,
is operating knowing uh and, all allegations and being for information. I don't even think it would work
mm,
that the commission is doing. So he made a lot of that obviously with it today tell us that anyone has also had my and that when he came to his house, he
mm.
did it. So, I mean, a lot of times, like I'm saying, when we really made during towards the end of his testimony, saw that he was getting tired and
Mm.
demanding answering some of the questions that the that we asked him. Probably today, I'm hoping he is now prepared to think also with them.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens after 2 o'clock today, but we'll leave it there for now. That was Sbahle Mota, SABC News reporter. And of course, she is our regular rundowner of the Mandlanga Commission, the day by day, blow by blow. It's 20 past 1 o'clock. We are going to take a quick pause and then we come back on the other side. We shift gears just a little bit and we start with a conversation that is raising awareness on World Prematurity Day because every baby counts.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
You could spend 10 minutes trying to fix the office printer or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For her 2025 Hyundai Exter, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month. And for her 2024 Haval H6 4x4, 50-year-old Priya pays just 1,178 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Usutu does not mind visitors, provided 3 points remain in KZN. However, Swelele refuse to travel to Durban as tourists. They want nothing but victory. This is the Midway Premiership. Forever! Amazulu FC versus Swelele FC on Saturday, 22 November at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Then on SABC radio stations at 3:30 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
What's one more thing you can do for a child today? Could it be one clinic visit for their next vaccination?
Or say something that will really tickle my brain.
Maybe one healthy lunchbox snack to fuel their day.
Or say something that makes me feel good about myself.
Or one strong no to alcohol in your home.
Just one thing today could change our tomorrow. Visit holdmyhand.org.za.
Alrighty, so we are partnering with the Luthuli Museum, bringing you the 19th annual Chief Albert Luthuli Memorial Lecture, which will be delivered by Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okojo Iwela, on Thursday, the 20th of November from 4 till 7 p.m. The theme for this year's lecture will be reflecting on the work of the World Trade Organization and its global impact. And the lecture will be live on the Luthuli Museum Facebook page and the Luthuli Museum and University of KwaZulu-Natal's YouTube platform. And you can tune in into the National Pulse with Ashraf Gada, coming to you live from the University of KwaZulu-Natal, bringing you the lecture live on SAFM. It's the annual Luthuli Memorial Lecture, and this is in partnership between the Luthuli Museum, Luthuli Foundation, Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, and of course the University of KwaZulu-Natal.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
All right. So every year, millions of tiny tots, millions of babies around the world are born too soon before the 37th week of pregnancy, and they face increased risks of health complications and developmental challenges. And this year's World Prematurity Day theme was Small Actions, Big Impact, Skin to Skin Care for Premature Babies. We are talking now to Dr. Rogers Mabatswa, who's a OBGYN, an obstetrician and gynecologist. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well. How are you, Bridget?
I'm great. Thank you so much. Appreciate the time. Considering also we know how busy OBGYNs can get. Let's first talk about World Prematurity Day. And the whole purpose of a day like this being observed globally.
Yes. Look, firstly, when we talk about preterm birth, we're talking about the babies born before 31st. So there are different types of preterm birth. And I would say the birth, the complication might be usually based on how soon the baby was born.
Yeah.
Because also born before 27 at least late preterm, those babies they normally do not have disease or problems that are associated with but mostly those who are born before 34 weeks, they are the ones who are actually worse those who are born before 26.
Mm-hmm.
So each year we have about 15 million people or babies born soon worldwide, and around 1 million of them they actually die due to associated.
Yeah.
And for those who survive, some of them they face some lifetime disabilities, like learning disabilities, some hearing problems, visual problems.
Dr. Rogers, before we go any further, I just want to see, I don't know if I'm on speaker or not. We're just getting sort of an uncrisp audio. If I am on speaker, perhaps if you can take me off speaker, just so that we can get a crisper audio. Let's see how that works. Otherwise, we'll try and switch to WhatsApp or something. So, and this is the thing, before we even get to the complications, perhaps let's also, you mentioned the sort of the severity of complications that are based on how long a baby was born. Maybe if we can also understand those different markers, that if a baby is born, say, at 24 weeks versus it being born at 30 weeks, perhaps, to what degree of complication could it potentially face? What could be the potential challenges of that early preterm baby versus one that's born, say, at 35 weeks?
Yeah. So, like I said, see, we are not like, but but we are the country. And uh, where this is born and so in South Africa, the to
Mm-hmm.
so meaning that those they are the ones that they train or they get uh, daily support because they've got high chances. But those who are born below 28 weeks, and it is less other. Those means it's like the and on the machine they might high uh, with local babies who are
Mm.
so and also the complications that are associated with those who are with they are very predictable. People know everything. They speak, they slow, they they- you know, as compared to those who are
Mm.
those who are more, they also have the the- those.
Mm. Mm.
So a child who is born at age 12 is the same as those who were born at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So normally we will encourage the babies to be born before after 34 weeks. This is that they don't benefit are mature enough in terms of but
Mm.
those who are born less than 24 weeks normally they need some assistance in terms of so they might go ICU that can support until their lungs have developed.
Yeah. I mean, we just have a minute, literally a minute. How do moms best support preterm delivery? We speak about skin to skin care being the theme for this year's premature day.
Support of the three so the are the one who can tell more, but as an obstetrician, I want to prevent the preterm delivery,
Mm.
you know. So what I will encourage people to have to on the prep so
Yeah.
that can once we screen them, can manage to identify the risk that puts them at risk of developing of having a preterm.
Dr.
I know
Rogers,
that
we have to leave it there for this afternoon, unfortunately. And also, Doctor's phone really wasn't the best by way of audio. So we apologize for what really is a very important conversation just being a bit hard to hear because of that phone device giving us issues. But maybe we'll have this conversation even outside of Prematurity Day just to look at it and get some more information around it. I know that when parents are going into a pregnancy period and just the very mention of possibility of a premature delivery does evoke some anxiety and panic. And so we can allay some of that by sharing some information from obstetricians and gynecologists. It's gone 1:30. It's time for Ondela. All right, we are just trying to reboot our system on our back end. It seems that we got a bit of a technical glitch as we were going to Ondela. Ondela, I know you can hear me right now. We will park that headline news for now as we try to reboot the system from our end. And then when we come back on the other side, we'll get into a conversation around entrepreneurship with Usiyabonga Magadla, who is an author and an entrepreneur in his own right. And he wrote the book Entrepreneurship Now a Matter of Urgency. So we're going to explore the contents of the book, as well as just the broader conversation around entrepreneurship, the challenges, the lessons, and the opportunities that I'm sure he himself has faced on his personal journey. That also speaks to the journey that is faced by a lot of entrepreneurs in the country. Let's see if we, well, we can't even take a quick pause actually, because Dira is doing the things for us. So perhaps I'll just go do 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 do, and that becomes the commercial break. Can we just align Sia's mic there for him, please? How are you doing this afternoon? I'm all right. I'm all right. Yeah. I mean, the duck has got to carry on swimming, regardless of what's going on. The ducks have got to carry on swimming.
No, certainly, certainly.
So you're having a good day?
It's been a bit of a busy morning, but all good. All good.
All good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Yeah. Is that not just the general life of an entrepreneur that your days generally are busy and perhaps no 2 days are the same?
No, definitely, definitely. Quite very much unpredictable, eh?
Mm,
You never know how the day is gonna turn out to be.
mm.
But I think by now, um, we're accustomed to that type of life.
Yes.
We're accustomed to it, yeah. But I think now also the external environment also adds to some of those pressures because there's a lot going on in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to juggle between our own internal issues as well as those that are external factors, which also impact on the overall environment.
Mm. How does that, by the way, everything that's going on in the country, everything that's going on geopolitically, how does that impact the entrepreneur's mind state around just going about building your business?
Look, I mean, if you speak at a geopolitical level, a lot has happened, I think, since the beginning of the year. There's been a number of developments from our fragile relationship with the Americans,
Mm.
which to some extent are supposed to be our close allies.
Yeah.
And I think some of the decisions that have been taken by the administration, and as far as the President Donald Trump's administration is concerned, I think they've introduced some shocks, especially in as far as conducting business is concerned, because they've got a dire impact in terms of how industries operate now. I mean, the introduction of the tariffs, protectionist policies, AGOA,
Mm.
which hangs in the balance if it's not gone. So all those, because you'd recall that even if the issue of tariffs impacts the automobile sector in the main, but these major industries always have downstream industries,
Absolutely.
which rely on the functionality of the bigger industries for them to function. So if there's an impact or a shock in the main industry, obviously those that depend on the lower value chain industries are
It
affected in a very dire manner.
it reverberates. Sia, I just want to, and I hope you don't mind me calling you Sia. I
No
just
worries.
want to pause on our conversation right now, but it's been a good start. And let's see if we can hop on over to Ondela quickly, if technology does not fail us, to give us the late news headline bulletin. Because as we were going into the headline news, we did get that system crash, and our system still currently is down.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the Durban High Court has heard that some of the social media posts that MK Party MP Duduzile Zuma Sambudla that had been deleted have been recovered. HIV prevention drug lenacapavir has been added to the Department of Health's National Essential Medicines list, and the traditional leadership of Barolong Botlo Lidao in Khanyesa near Freiburg in the northwest have issued permits to 40 initiation school principals. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
All right, we are back. We are back minus the fanfare, all the bells and the whistles that go with radio are currently incapacitated, and so we are just trying to have the conversation. Clean cut radio, clean cut radio. We are in conversation with Usiyabonga Magadla, who is an author and entrepreneur himself, and an author of the book Entrepreneurship, Now a Matter of Urgency. Let me find out from the base, Uguti, who was this book written for?
I mean, the book is, in fact, I do say it in the preface that it's not about or for entrepreneurs only.
Mm.
It's about everyone who loves South Africa. And I say that because I wrote the book within a context of a number of issues that are happening in the country. I think some we've made reference to, which is the geopolitical tensions that characterize the trade environment. But also there's a number of issues that put us at the crossroads, which requires all of us to wake up and rise to the occasion if we are to turn the tide. So part of what has happened, as you would be aware, is that we've experienced an unprecedented exit of multinational companies. This happens with everything else that we've made reference to, and all of this has affected the jobs industry. Also, you would know that currently we have in fact, some of the dubious honors, highest unemployment in the world, highest inequality. We've got unemployment that broadly sits at about 43%. We are approaching 50% unemployment, if you are to be realistic, with everything that is happening. So the book is written for everyone who cares about the future of the country, not only entrepreneurs, as much as it speaks about entrepreneurs. Because the reality is that for entrepreneurship to thrive, there's other core dependencies that needs to function for it to thrive as well. And I make those points in the book. As part of the conversation, perhaps we'll go into some of them. Because if the environment broadly is not conducive for entrepreneurship to thrive, then all of us we are bound to fail. Because these businesses play a very significant role, not only for individuals who are running them, but for national economies as well. They are quite significant, you would know. They provide a competitive environment, they provide new economic activity, they provide employment opportunities. You would know that, by the way, small businesses are the biggest employers, especially for people who are less skilled and have got limited education attainment levels.
Yeah. I mean, part of the themes of exploration in the book, as outlined even in the front cover, is the challenges, the lessons, and the opportunities. And perhaps before we even get to exploring the opportunities, let's unpack some of those challenges. We mention, obviously South Africa is facing an unemployment crisis at the moment. There's also a sense from South Africans that government is meant to create jobs. I firmly believe, as a student of development, that I firmly believe that a government's role is to create an environment that is conducive for people like yourselves, entrepreneurs in business, to thrive and be able to exploit those conditions. How does that sort of speak to just the challenges and what has come out from the research and the conversations leading up to this? What are the biggest pressing challenges for businesses, for entrepreneurs, for people who just have an idea, who haven't yet initiated a business of any sort?
Yeah, so I think we're aligned. The government should not be the one that creates the bulk of the employment or job opportunities. Its function is to create the environment for such businesses to thrive. And some of the challenges that I outline in the book are nothing new. Hence, the title of the book says "Entrepreneurship Now: A Matter of Urgency," because we seem to theorize a lot. We seem to have grand plans about what needs to be done for small businesses to thrive. But practically, when it comes to implementation, we don't put our money where our mouth is, and that's the reality. And if we don't wake up to that reality, that now it's time, the issue has become urgent, we will all fail as a country. And I'm not being alarmist.
Yeah.
Because some of the challenges that I outline in the book, you would know there's an endemic issue of late payment of suppliers, for instance, small businesses. It's a big issue. Small businesses can go for months without being paid. um, for reasons that really are not acceptable.
Yeah.
And if this on its own is not arrested, I mean, it's got potential. In fact, it has collapsed many businesses, and it's got potential to kill more businesses. So that's one of the challenges. I mean, it's nothing new, but there seems to be no end in sight. It seems to continue unabated. The money that is owed to service providers or suppliers, small businesses, runs into billions of rands, and it keeps increasing. Different across various provinces, but there are some that are leading in terms of being culprits in as far as that is concerned. That's the one issue. I mean, the second one is a common issue that we spoke about, which is the issue of access to finance or capital. And this is backed by scientific research. The GEM Global Entrepreneurship Monitor
Yeah.
does research across countries to check how the environment is conducive for small businesses to thrive. And the issue of access to capital continues to be a major challenge that faces small businesses. Not that there's no capital, by the way. In fact, there's a research that was done locally by FinFind in partnership with African Bank, which I also make reference to in the book. It also supports the fact that there's still a big challenge of small businesses not accessing capital. Not because capital is not available, but sometimes there's a mismatch. Capital that is available is for sectors that do not really apply for funding, and those that require the funding do not get catered for or considered as part of the funding that is available. So there is that mismatch. And I mean, that happens. We are 30 plus years into democracy. Surely by now we should have made concessions in some of these areas. I think that's the second issue. The third one is that generally, the social norms or cultural norms in the country, I don't think they support the culture of entrepreneurship. And once again, this is supported by the GEM research, which paints a concerning picture, by the way, that increasingly a lot of people who see opportunities in business are now scared to start businesses for fear of failure, which is a serious concern because we should be at a point where our levels of entrepreneurship are on overdrive and not on reverse. And it seems like we are reversing.
Absolutely. I want to, if you are watching our live stream, then you know there's many things happening in the background. And before we run out of our time for our conversation in our last few minutes together, in the book, you also highlight entrepreneurship education in the Arab states, for instance, and namely you mentioned Jordan, Tunisia, Oman, and Egypt. Now, I wanted to know what was identified in those territories as successful strategies, and how do we begin to borrow from what they've implemented and what they've learned?
Yeah, look, I think firstly is the fact that they adopted entrepreneurship education a long time ago, which I think it's something that we should have done in South Africa as well. And not only did they adopt entrepreneurship education, but they became practical about it. For instance, there's examples in some of those countries where schools, learners in schools, are linked or paired with businesses outside of the school environment for them to get practical exposure in terms of what it means to run a business. What is this thing called a business? Because the reality is that it becomes difficult to become something that you don't know or don't know that it exists. So if you're exposed to such an environment, you then become more, I mean, amenable to follow a route that speaks about entrepreneurship. And some of the things that they do, it's practical things like business plan competitions that are done at a school level. And I mean, if you do that at that level, it definitely does something to the mindset of a young person, because as they grow, they become attracted, and they carry that with them from that level until such time that they are adults and want to pursue their own businesses. And maybe in lastly is that if you've observed some of the most prolific entrepreneurs, they will always tell you that I started in school. I was selling sweets, I was selling this, I was selling that. And if they've got that exposure at that level, they're bound to continue even in adulthood to be successful entrepreneurs. And that's where the issue of entrepreneurship education becomes very important.
Absolutely.
The implementation part of it is something that South Africa still needs to consider, but it's something that has to be done.
Yeah. In our last 2 minutes, literally in our last 2 minutes, as part of just the work in the book, right? So you spell out the challenges, but you also provide a lot of recommendation. Are these based on research, tried and tested methods as shared by entrepreneurs and business people, or is just stuff that has been proven to work by big business?
I think it's a combination of factors. It's stuff that has been proven to work, but also it's insights that you gain from interacting with other entrepreneurs. Because I think one of the benefits that I personally have as an author of the book is that I'm not just an author. I'm someone who's been in business for 10 years now.
Mm.
And I've experienced firsthand some of the issues that I'm writing about. And I know the struggles of entrepreneurs on a daily basis. And I've dabbled in a number of sectors myself, succeeding in others, others not so much. So the insights that I provide are from personal experience, interaction with other entrepreneurs, but also having worked for government, by the way, because I used to work for one of the entities that provide support to young people, especially small businesses. So I think it's a combination of all those insights gained over time, and then they become a product of this particular book.
Mm. In our last minute, Siyabonga, the opportunity that lie in sort of in wait for entrepreneurs.
I mean, there's plenty. There's plenty. You just need to look around. There's plenty. I mean, I often draw a list of some on a daily basis because you'd find people asking me for such recommendations. So I'd always put together a list. I mean, you've got tech and IT, web development, app development, IT support. You've got creative, social media management, graphic design, freelance writing. You've got your personal and home services, laundry, tutoring, and a range of other things. And I often say that we should not have a situation, for instance, whereby graduates are unemployed. Because if you're a graduate and you're unemployed, there's a tutoring opportunity there that you can explore, where the knowledge that you've gathered over the years, you can impart it to young ones. Because the reality is that parents are busy. They don't always have the time to sit with the children and do the homework and assist them with schoolwork. So if you are a graduate, that's an opportunity to work. But also there's other at a broad level. We speak about manufacturing locally for export markets. We speak about localization. We speak about the Africa Trade Continental Free Area, which provides opportunities as well for entrepreneurs to trade at a continental level. We're talking about 1.4 billion uh, people in terms of the population. So the opportunities are immense. We just need to open our eyes, change our mindset, so that we're able to take advantage of these opportunities.
We have to leave it there for this afternoon, but I appreciate you coming down. And that was entrepreneur and author Usiyabonga Magadla. That book, Entrepreneurship, Now a Matter of Urgency, is available for you to purchase and read at your leisure. It's just gone 10 to 2 o'clock. We're going to attempt to play out our kids schedule programming with Kids Corner, and then go to the news at the top of the hour. Ondela, if you can hear me, we're going to bring you the news at 2 o'clock. Let's get to that.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello, friends, and happy Wednesday. Welcome back to another fun and thoughtful edition of Kids Corner. I hope your midweek is going well and you're ready for another great conversation. Today, we're talking about sharing, something we all do at home, at school, and with our friends. What does sharing mean to you? Do you find it easy or difficult to share your things with others? How do you feel when someone shares something with you? Why do you think sharing is important at home, at school, or with friends? Can you think of a time when you shared something and made someone happy? Maybe a friend, a sibling, or even yourself? And finally, why do you think sharing with others is important? All right, friends, take a moment and share your thoughts with the people next to you.
name is Valencia. To me, sharing means being kind and generous with others and allowing others to have or use something that's yours. It shows you that they care about others. When someone shares something with me, I think they are a kind person and that their parents taught them manners. It is so important because it shows that you care about others. It was sports day at my school, and my friend had forgotten her sandals, and so I had borrowed her one of mine, and we were both walking around with one sandal on one foot and a white sock on the other. Sharing helps build connections between people.
Yeah, my name and surname is Position Pembe. I am 11 years old. To me, sharing means letting other people use or enjoy something that I have. It's a way to show kindness and support. When I share, I feel like I'm spreading happiness and building connections with others. I think sharing can be both easy and difficult. It's easy when I am comfortable with my friends or family and I know they'll appreciate what I am sharing. But sometimes it's harder, especially if it's something I really like or if I'm worried someone might not take care of it. When someone shares something with me, I feel happy and grateful. It makes me feel good to know that they care enough to share what they have. It's nice to feel connected through sharing. Sharing is really important at home, school, and with friends because it helps us build relationships and trust. It shows we are willing to consider others' feelings and help us work as a team, whether it's for projects or just having fun together. I remember a time when I shared my art supplies with my friends who didn't have her own. She was so happy and we were able to create a beautiful drawing. Seeing her smile made me really feel good inside and it made our friendship stronger. Sharing with others is important because it teaches us empathy and kindness. It helps create a sense of community where everyone feels included and supported. Plus, it's just nice to make someone else happy. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rafulpula Ratogwa. Today I'll be talking about how I feel about sharing my things with other children. How I feel about sharing things with other children is actually okay because sharing is caring. The last time I shared my things with someone was last week Friday. I shared my things with him because he forgot his stationery at home. His name was Benji. The thing that I shared with him was a pen and a pencil. I think that sharing from a young age is important because if you don't share with others, you will end up not trusting each other as friends.
Hello, my name is Dembara Madi. I feel fine sharing my things with other children at school. The last time I shared my things with someone was last week. It was my friend who I shared a puppet with. Children must learn to share from their young age because if you don't start learning to share now, you won't be a good child. Always be the best sharer. Always be kind and caring. Share with anyone you know from your family or friends. Thank you.
Good day. My name and surname is Apeleran Pembe, and I am 8 years old. To me, sharing means letting others use or enjoy what I have. It's about being nice and having fun together. When I share, I feel like I'm being a good friend or family member. I find sharing both easy and a little bit hard sometimes. It's easy when I'm sharing with my friends or family members who I trust, but it can be hard if it's something special to me, like my favorite toy or game. When someone shares something with me, I feel really happy and thankful. It's nice to know that they want to share with me, and it makes me feel included and part of the fun. Sharing is important at home, school, and with friends because it helps us build stronger relationships. It's showing that we care about each other and it makes everyone feel good. We can learn from each other and have more fun when we share. One time I shared my art supplies with my big sister when when she wanted to draw. She was so excited and we ended up making some really cool pictures together. Seeing her smile made me happy too. Sharing with others is important because it helps us connect with people. It teaches us kindness and how to think about others' feelings. Plus, it can make fun activities even more enjoyable when everyone in is included. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. It's always great to hear from you. Today we're talking about something simple yet powerful: sharing. Sharing is more than just giving someone a toy, a snack, or a pencil. It's a way of showing love, kindness, and connection. It's a small action that carries a big message: I care about you. For some of you, sharing might feel easy because it brings joy to others and makes you feel warm inside. And for others, it may be a little difficult, and that's perfectly okay. Sometimes it's hard to let go of things we value, but every time you choose to share, you open the door of friendship, trust, and happiness. Think about how you feel when someone shares with you. When a friend gives you part of their lunch, lets you borrow their colors, or invites you to join a game, it makes you feel seen, valued, and included. It creates a moment of connection that stays with you long after the day is over. Sharing is important in every place we go: at home, at school, and with our friends, because it teaches us generosity, patience, and cooperation. In your home, sharing helps create peace and teamwork. At school, it helps build a supportive classroom where everyone can learn and grow. With friends, sharing strengthens the bond that makes your friendship special. Maybe you can remember a moment when you shared something and made someone else smile. Perhaps you let a sibling play with your favorite toy, or gave a friend your last sweet, or helped someone who needed support. Those small acts of kindness don't just brighten someone's day, they brighten yours too. So remember, friends, sharing isn't just about losing something, it's about spreading kindness. Each time you share, you help create a world where people look out for one another, where hearts are connected, and where joy grows and grows. Keep choosing kindness, keep giving freely, and keep shining your beautiful light. Because when you share, you make the world even brighter for everyone, including yourself. That's it for today, friends. See you next time.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
And that concludes the first hour of the show. It's 2 o'clock. It's just gone 2 o'clock. Before we attempt to head on back to the Matlanga Commission, we're going to catch up with Ondelambana and the top of the hour news.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, Duduzile's deleted media posts recovered and Lina Kapavia added to health medicines list. For SFM News, I'm Ondelambana and a very good day. The Durban High Court has heard that some of the social media posts that MK Party MP Duduzile Zuma Sambudla that had been deleted have been recovered. That's the evidence of media law expert Emma Sadler in Zuma Sambudla's terrorism trial stemming from the 2021 unrest. The court previously heard from a police expert that Zuma Sambudla had deleted some of her posts after the unrest. Sedler said one recovered video shows a person shooting at an election post of an ANC president, Cyril Ramaphosa. In the background, someone remarked, Eish, yeah. Defense advocate Dalim Bofu objected to these recovered videos being played in court, saying they did not receive it in time. HIV prevention drug lenacapavir has been added to the Department of Health's National Essential Medicines list. The Health Department says the twice-a-year injectable HIV prevention medicine recently registered with SAPRA will ensure access to safe, effective, quality and affordable medicines for use in the public sector. Health spokesperson Foster Mohale says the drug has the potential to address critical gaps in existing HIV prevention methods.
The inclusion of treatments like lenacapavir on the essential medicines list is crucial to encourage manufacturing of generic medicines in order to improve their availability and affordability, especially in low and middle income countries like South Africa. Lenacapavir has potential to address critical gaps in current HIV prevention methods.
Independent economist Elise Kruger says inflation remains under control and close to the Reserve Bank's 3% target. Data released by Statistics South Africa shows consumer price inflation accelerated from 3.4% in September to 3.6% in October 2025. The data shows that food inflation has moderated compared to the previous month. However, meat prices remain elevated. Kruger says the Reserve Bank is likely to cut interest rates by 25 basis points when it makes its rate announcement tomorrow.
So it's particularly positive is the fact that food price inflation moderated further from a recent peak of 5.5% in July. Food price inflation is now down to 3.9%, and we actually had 3 consecutive months of declines in the food price basket's prices. From this point of view, I do think there's a window of opportunity for the Reserve Bank to cut interest rates tomorrow at the Monetary Policy Committee meeting. So I do expect a 25 basis point cut in the repo rate.
The traditional leadership of Barolong Botlo Litau in Ganyesa near Vryburg in the northwest have issued permits to 40 initiation school principals. They're expected to initiate about 4,000 male and female initiates in about 72 villages under the traditional leadership of Hosi Itato Litlogile. This is one of the ways to regulate the traditional practice. These initiation school principals in Ganyesa have promised to abide by the laws.
We monitor how initiates eat, sleep, and drink water.
We do not disregard food preferences for our initiates. They eat what they eat at home. We want to bring initiates back home safe.
Initiation school principals must be known by the community and traditional leadership.
Everyone knows that I always have successful initiation, which shows that I keep my promises.
Victims of the late American sex offender Jeffrey Epstein have welcomed the U.S. Congress passing legislation that aims to force the Justice Department to release documents from its criminal investigation into him. President Donald Trump now says he'll sign the bill into law as soon as he gets it. The BBC Sean Dealey reports.
For weeks, President Trump resisted lending his call to Republican lawmakers to back the release of a trove of Jeffrey Epstein's documents held by the government. Mr. Trump said the move was a distraction led by the Democrats. But on the eve of the vote, he urged his party's members to back the Epstein Files transparency bill, even though he could have used his executive power to order the release at any time. Now he says he will sign off on the bill as soon as it hits his desk. Survivors of Jeffrey Epstein have welcomed the news that we'll see most documents published within the next 30 days.
Recapping the top story, the Durban High Court has heard that some of the social media posts that MK Party MP Duduzile Zuma Sambudla that had been deleted have been recovered. I'm on Lambana for SFM News Headlines at 2:30.
And that concludes the 2 o'clock news with Ondela. Extraordinary doesn't just happen, it's built brick by digital brick. Vodacom Business is helping shape South Africa's businesses from scalable cloud and AI that powers smarter decisions to IoT and connectivity that bridges every gap, backed by security that you can trust. Together with business and government, Vodacom Business is building stronger industries and thriving communities. A nation ready to lead. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
Including imagine a recovered firearm or a rifle, which is recorded and booked in the SAP 13, then imagine how does it get released from SAP 13, and you find that it has been used to murder another person. Now this came from CAT, and now you can see that how the whole thing is narrated with names, amount of money paid, and everything. This is the story I was associating myself to.
So that's what we have heard in relation to your testimony on the first of those topics, the PKTT. If we go to the second one, which you say General Mkhonazi's speech was designed to divert attention away from, that topic you've said is corruption in crime intelligence.
That's correct.
And that's what you say you've been investigating.
Crime corruption in crime intelligence. That's correct.
So I'm just trying to identify the topics that you've canvassed there. You mentioned the case of Brigadier Lushaba yesterday.
That's correct.
You talked also about the plot to frame General Khan.
That's correct.
I think you mentioned in your evidence yesterday vehicles being bought with secret funds that are not properly accounted for.
It was one of the tasks given in the first place. That's correct.
Certainly in your chats with Mr. Matlala, we also see references to a property that's allegedly brought with secret funds that are not properly accounted for.
Yes. Now, this is where the interest starts. I believe even over the weekend, there was a publication from News 24. It talks about the IGI report. I don't know how they got it, where the secret fund was being abused to buy these properties. And if you check, that's one part of the work that I did.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you are not just buying a plan, you are also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover as well as a transport, grocery and unveiling benefit. Apply today. It's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS Radio 2000 to 45538. That's 45538. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Kick off to glory with Hollywood Bets and Asii Shege. Be in the game. Go full speed ahead with the epic competition. You stand to win a share of 4 million Rand in cash and prizes, including an all-new Toyota Corona Cross. Bet 10 Rand or more on any soccer fixture or fixtures online or at your nearest branch. Live life in the fast lane. Bet now for your chance to score.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Masandawana want to ensure that their DRC visitors have no say in Pretoria, the country's capital city. Meanwhile, the Railmen are committed to a decent result away from home. This is the Group C first leg clash of the CAF Champions League. Mamelodi Sundowns FC versus FC Saint Louis Lupopo. This Saturday, 22 November at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC Plus and SABC2. Then on SABC radio stations at 3 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Losing a loved one is hard, and funeral costs can add up quickly. With an affordable One Life Insurance funeral policy, cover up to 16 family members for up to 50,000 Rand each on one policy, and get free grocery, headstone and repatriation benefits. Be the one to give your family a beautiful send-off. SMS cover to 48461. That's cover to 48461. One Life Insurance Limited is a licensed life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
From the first bullet fired to the last betrayal uncovered, the battle for the Dutton legacy has left blood on the land and scars on every soul. We've seen loyalty tested, families torn apart, and enemies made in the name of power, pride, and survival. Now, as the dust settles and new threats rise, the question remains, how far will the Duttons go to protect their empire? Yellowstone, Season 5, the fight isn't over. It's just begun. Starts Tuesday, 18th November at 7 p.m. only on S3.
Work and back stuff, school run stuff, weekend away stuff, tow stuff, load stuff, smooth ride stuff, drive smart stuff, peace of mind stuff, certified Africa tough stuff, really good looking stuff. The no-nonsense Nissan Navara Pro 2X double cab from 9,570 a month. Visit your Nissan dealer for a test drive or nissan.co.za for more. Offered through Nissan Finance, a product of Westbank. T's and C's apply. Nissan, defy ordinary stuff.
Carnival Club is counting 3 points on home ground. Meanwhile, the Kragkouwers refuse to travel back home without a win. This is the Bundesliga, football as it's meant to be. Catch FSV Mainz versus TSG Hoffenheim on Friday, 21 November at 9:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Life, love, and all.
Yes. A lot of people don't do it. Tell me the importance. Let's maybe start with the importance of, or the idea behind it, of asking for indlela. So literally asking for your tsela ibulehe or that type of thing.
Indlela auspicious has always been an important factor in many cultures because it offers spiritual intervention and a protected force.
Right.
Ukuthi ukhanyiseke nalidlozi eligadile naliliva away ukuthi you're about to embark on a journey. So akhona okuzayo ekubheke ngakuwe akwazi ukuthatha phephile. Yes.
Life, love, and all. Monday to Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. with Mapaseka on Radio 2000. Our music, your memories.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Reigning champions, the Reds, believe a win at Anfield always brings great euphoria to their fanatics.
He find the cross. He stands to Ekatike, and Kirkes has given Liverpool a lifeline. His first Liverpool goal, and it could be vital just before the break.
While the Trick-and-Trees are searching for a top-of-the-range strategy to defeat the Reds.
Driven in by Nico Williams. Well, it may have taken Liverpool 95 minutes to break Burnley down.
This is the Premier League. Witness the thrilling contest between Liverpool FC versus Nottingham Forest on Saturday, 22 November at 4:30 p.m. live on SABC Plus and SABC3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
This November, SAFM proudly presents the 3rd annual lecture.
I do want to say that in the public service, there are also checks and balances. The fact that people may not have applied doesn't mean it's not there.
SAFM invites you to our 3rd annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Muleketi. The theme of the lecture is Confronting Inequality, Corruption and Unemployment.
Let's hold everyone accountable and to standards, whether you have a GNU or not.
The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Four Ways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations, and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The Green Eagles believe nothing will stop them from flying high with 3 points on Egyptian soil. However, the Glamour Boys want to wrap up the weekend with a special message for their fans. This is the Group D first leg contest of the CAF Confederation Cup. Catch Al Masri SC versus Kaizer Chiefs FC this Sunday, 23 November at 8 p.m. live on SABC Plus and SABC 1. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
SAFM commemorates Disability Rights Awareness Month under the theme Celebrating 30 Years of Democracy, Creating Strategic, Multi-Sectoral Partnerships for a Disability-Inclusive Society. SAFM supports and works tirelessly towards equity and equality for those with disabilities. Empowerment is key. Let us break the barriers and improve the quality of life for those with disabilities. Our efforts towards a better life for those with disabilities can only be impactful when we do so together. We do not tolerate any kind of discrimination. Disability Awareness Month 2025 on SAFM 104 to 107 FM nationwide, leading the conversations that move us.
Masandawana want to ensure that their DRC visitors have no say in Pretoria, the country's capital city. Meanwhile, the Railmen are committed to a decent result away from home. This is the Group C first leg clash of the CAF Champions League. Mamelodi Sundowns FC versus FC St. Eloy Lupopo. This Saturday, 22 November at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC Plus and SABC 2. Then on SABC radio stations at 3 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The Expresso Morning Show has been nominated in 5 categories in the 3rd annual National Film and Television Awards South Africa.
It all happens on Saturday, the 22nd of November 2025 at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. And public voting is open from the 13th of October to the 20th of November at midday.
So visit nationalfilmacademy.com, register and vote for Expresso Morning Show in all 5 categories.
Then, of course, catch us weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. right here on S3.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations, and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Carnival Club is counting 3 points on home ground. Meanwhile, the Kragkouwers refuse to travel back home without a win. This is the Bundesliga. Football as it's meant to be. Catch FSV Mainz versus TSG Hoffenheim on Friday, 21 November at 9:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
It has been an attack of the gremlins. We apologize for that. For the many hiccups in our broadcast today. Around about 1:30, almost an hour ago, we had a systems crash internally, and then we've been trying to reboot and get it back on track. And obviously, rebooting also means that the scheduling on our system needs to correlate with exactly where we need to be. So all the technicalities are happening behind the scenes. So we beg your indulgence for this afternoon. We hope that our technical teams have finally sorted everything out and everything is now back in order. But yes, we just would like to sincerely apologize for all the haphazardness that has transpired in the last couple of minutes or so. We are going to go back into the Madlanga Commission where Brown Mkhotsi is giving his testimony for day 2. Just looking at the clock, obviously in about 6-7 minutes or so, we should be heading into the news headlines. Hopefully we'll take those uninterrupted and then we'll go back again into the Madlanga Commission after that.
By the fact that the national commissioners, he saw nothing wrong after the press conference was called, and the national commissioner still today he never even condoned the doings of General Mkhwanazi. I can say they were together in this.
Is there anybody else you would accuse of that?
It's obviously General Mkhwanazi during the press conference, he was very angry about the arrest of Lieutenant General Khumalo. And this term that I feel of this police mafia cartel, I may not be able to know everyone who was involved, but I can assure you General Khumalo, General Mkhwanazi, and General Masamula crafted, orchestrated that press conference.
And if we look at the people on the other side, people against whom these alleged plotters were plotting. The people on the other side, the people against whom these alleged coup plotters were plotting. Let's take those two topics that you say the press conference was designed to divert attention away from. Who's been concerned about the allegedly unlawful use of the PKTT? Who are the people who
are concerned?
Who are concerned about it?
One of them was, I even saw Mrs. Meridi Haas. I know of one socialist, very vocal, Patricia Mashali. But as we speak now, I believe in terms of the law, the letter which Minister Senzo Mchunu issued, it was never contested in any court of law. It was never set aside, but the PKTT still exists. I'm not saying they don't have to exist, but I'm saying in terms of the law, if executive has issued a directive of that nature, is either it get rescinded or it's set aside by the court of law.
So Are you saying that the minister was one of the people concerned about the PKTT, that you infer that from his letter of 31 December?
Repeat the question, Commissioner.
Are you saying that the minister was one of the people obviously concerned about the PKTT, as you infer from the letter of 31 December?
I cannot speak on behalf of the minister, but during his appearance before the ad hoc committee, he did give reasons relating to budgets, and one of Major General was here also. She spoke about the existence of some units called violence crime and so forth, saying there is an organizational structure in the South African police that has been approved, which allows for the PKTT to be absorbed into those things. I think it was just a procedural and a policy matter, which does not calls for one to like or not or dislike it.
Are you aware that the minister's taken a particular interest in the murder of Sindiso Magagwa?
I'm not aware.
He in fact told Parliament that he was considering appointing a ministerial inquiry into it. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not aware.
Do you know what the Chief of Staff's position is in relation to these issues and the PKTT's alleged abuses?
As I said yesterday, Commissioner, on my statement, the Chief of Staff, I would only talk to him during the ANC day and only if I did not reach the minister. So I don't know his position on anything.
And if we go to the topic of alleged corruption in crime intelligence, we know that General Sabia was kept appraised of your investigation in this regard. Not that much. I remember I report to my handler. It is only here and there if I could speak to him, but it is my handler that I'm informing about an investigation. So who else inside SAPS do you think is concerned about corruption in crime intelligence that you're investigating?
I will not know who else has a problem. I know of, when you check the portfolio committee on police, how members of parliament will speak about corruption, and those that I mentioned, Ms. Meridi Haas, Patricia Mashali, and the challenge I know would where the police or crime intelligence officers will really raise in many occasions would be the flat rate fee of 3,000 rand across the board for informant, irrespective of the success and whatever.
Now, if your thesis is true, that the July speech was a misdirection tactic, it is possible that it may have been a misdirection tactic, but what General Mkhwanazi said about crime syndicates controlling senior police officers remains true. You accept that?
Yeah, you know, I still believe General Mkhwanazi, as a provincial commissioner, he did not have to go to the media.
That wasn't my question. My question was, do you accept that whether it was a misdirection tactic or not, it is still quite possible that what he said about syndicates controlling senior police officers is true?
It's possible.
And of course, misdirection can be played in any direction. So if there are senior police officers who are connected to criminal syndicates and they want to divert attention away from what General Mkhwanazi said in his press conference, they'd want to use their agents to make sensational allegations against him. You accept that?
Yes, I accept that. However, commissioners, the possibility that you refer to, that it may be possible that there may be those connection between the senior police. It is also, the possibility may apply vice versa. It may be that, like what I was about to tell you about the CIT, that that thing exists on the same people who are misleading the country.
I hear you, and if you give us details, we will look into them. But what I want to put to you today is that your allegations about General Mkhwanazi and Prince Makadi being CIA agents strike me as a misdirection tactic. What's your response to that?
Investigation is investigation. You may have that belief now, but ultimately the outcome of investigation will show whether we are correct or not, will show the result. But it's not intended to misdirect.
Well, let me give you a couple of facts. You mentioned yesterday a coal mine in Richards Bay. There is no coal mine in Richards Bay.
It's correct.
But you mentioned a coal mine.
Yeah, I can rephrase and put it in proper context. The coal mine is in Mpumalanga. I wanted to say the end route, the route that is utilized is the Richards Bay one. Thank you so much.
Well, then let me tell you that the Richards Bay coal terminal is owned by a consortium of more than 10 different mining companies, each of whom have their own export quota. Did you know that?
I'm not aware of that.
And each of these, I think it's either 13 or 15 mining companies, control how that export quota is used. So they can decide who they want to export coal to from Richards Bay. Do you know that?
I was not aware of that.
You see, what I want to put to you is the notion that you advance in your statement that, and you refer to the offtake portion of this coal route. You say this offtake, the offtake portion of this coal route is owned by Israeli interests. That's what triggered this investigation, apparently. That notion is completely fanciful. Because short of buying up all the export capacity of between 13 and 15 different mining companies, it's not possible to own the offtake portion of the Richards Bay coal terminal. You know that?
I cannot give a specific answer, commissioners. Remember, if you are given information, and that information also involves, like I said, the Chinese were interested there, and also involve not Mrs. Zulu, the prince, saying he's being harassed because of that, saying Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi is actually opposing him at all costs because of that. You end up believing that the state. That's why I've given that statement.
Let me give you another fact. You say in your statement that there was a fear that the coal terminal and the export route was going to be shut down. That's in your statement. That's apparently why the so-called Western interests got interested in.
Yeah, according to information, according to the source, that's what I heard. That's what.
Well, what I want to put to you is that there's never been any suggestion from government that the Richards Bay coal terminal is going to be shut down, and that, on the contrary, in the period you speak of, government's been investing hundreds of millions of rands in improving the rail link to Richards Bay.
Yeah, commissioners, the information was there was a feeling from the West End that since South Africa took Israel to court, to the International Criminal Court, that may be halted. That's how I have phrased it.
Let me take it further. Do you know that since 2023, when you say this investigation started, the output of the Richards Bay coal terminal has been increasing steadily?
That may be, yeah, it's possible. I'm not conversant with that. I was sticking to my investigation, commissioners.
You see, what I want to put to you is that if you or your handler were genuinely investigating a CIA plot through General Mkhwanazi to protect Israeli interests in the whole of the export, the offtake from the Richards Bay coal terminal, you'd have been able to discover the facts that I've just given you in 5 minutes on the internet. So you really wouldn't have come up with a story which is self-evidently absurd.
Commissioners, if whatever senior counsel has been saying comes from the internet, then investigation doesn't work like that. And I'm disappointed, Senior Counsel, that with those powerful facts that may be written by someone who has interest, then they are presented before the commission, and I do not know. In fact, whatever that you've been saying, it means, remember what I said in my word. I can put up a website, take my people in 5 days, and give you the opposite of what's written.
I want to put to you that if you actually investigated the notion that one, the Richards Bay coal terminal was under threat of being shut down, that two, it was controlled by Israeli interests, it would take you less than 5 minutes to realize it was absurd. And I want to put to you that the fact that you didn't take those 5 minutes, you or your handler, to do it, suggests that you weren't actually investigating these allegations.
Commissioners, investigation of that kind, we don't go to the internet. We have 5, 6 people here with a bot, those that have knowledge showing you what they think, showing you what is happening on the ground, showing you there is kind of a system which is used when you are dealing with it. And I'm saying in my statement, if you check my statement correctly, I'm basing, just like the chairperson said yesterday, he was using a different language about hearsay. A hearsay is tested until through investigation until you get the result. It's not that the result will always say, yes, General Mkonazi is a CIA. No, you investigate, you get the outcome, then you rely on what you have. But since we have not got anything, it means what you say will stand, but will not stop us from investigating.
So you want to put in issue that the Richards Bay coal terminal is controlled by between more than 10 different mining companies. You're not satisfied that that's the truth.
The interest, that's the truth. According to what you say, I'm not sure, I don't know. But when you talk of Western interest, commissioners, there is a term called this white monopoly capital. It's a different thing. It's not what you see, having 10 companies, having 5, 6, they will say black people, CEOs. That's not the case. When you talk of a particular business interest in the size of that business, it's not what you see on the internet. Not what you see.
Well, what I do want to put to you is that the suggestion that General Mkonazi and Prince Makadi are CIA operatives working to protect Israeli interests in Richard Bay coal.
Is it not King Mrs. Zulu?
King Mrs. Zulu, I beg your pardon. Is one false, and is two a misdirection tactic? It's designed to take attention away from the allegations that General Mkonazi is making.
No, that's not the intention. It's not the intention. The allegations General Mkonazi is making, I'll give an example. Today, the whole country knows that Mr. Senzo Mchunu is corrupt, is aligned to the drug cartels. Till today, they have not brought one evidence that links Minister Mchunu to those things. Even they will say the same applies. Remember, I told you about this Boko Haram and Ket Matlala. The Ket Matlala is portrayed one of the big fives now. Let me tell you, Commissioner, South African Police Service, it is expected that is the only institution, whether ESCOM, Telcom, when you have an employee, you will take, or a company to appoint, you will take the profile or the details of that company to SARS, to South African Police Service for vetting. How did Ket Matlala go through the vetting process of South African Police Service to end up being appointed for 300 million and all these things? 2 months, 3 months later, the same South African Police Service says Ket Matlala is the big five. That's misdirection. They say Ket Matlala, Minister Mkunu was safeguarding the interest of Ket Matlala and all these things going to fund him. It is Senzo Mkunu, through the review, who cancelled Ket Matlala's contract. Isn't that misdirection, commissioners? I cannot cancel the contract now, tomorrow. 300 million. And you say you are funding me.
Before you continue, Mr. Shaskalson, something very important. I've always been correcting people on the pronunciation of people's names. I mispronounced the king's name. It's Misuzulu. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I also want to put to you that your allegations of Mr. Matlala paying bribes to General Masemola and General Mkhonazi are also another misdirection tactic. And let me say why. We've been through Mr. Matlala's cell phone, and he is hardly discreet about his improper relationships with senior SAPS members in his WhatsApp communications. Can I give you an example? Do you want to go to page 107 of the annexure? We'll come back to this exchange a little bit later, but I'm sure you remember it. It's relating to the witness who said he was being pressurized to change his story to falsely implicate General Khan. You remember that?
Yes, Cousin.
So Mr. Matlala says to you, in relation to this witness, arrange with Khan to give him cash if the information he has is worth it. So Mr. Matlala is indicating to you that General Khan, in his view, would be willing to pay a witness to give evidence that suits General Khan.
Yes, I see the message.
You accept that what he's saying to you is that General Khan will pay a witness to give evidence that suits him.
This is what Ket said, commissioners, not what General Khan said or myself.
I'm saying that Kat is not discreet about his communications in relation to senior police officers.
We can say that.
We've seen plenty of evidence in the chats of Mr. Matlala paying SAPS members to assist him.
That's correct.
We've seen plenty of evidence of Mr. Matlala communicating directly with SAPS generals and brigadiers in improper circumstances.
That's correct.
Now, if Mr. Matlala was paying massive bribes to General Masemola or General Mkhonazi, I'd expect to see some sign of this relationship with these generals in his chats. I see signs of relationships with a whole lot of other generals in his chats.
Okay, commissioners, there is something that is missing here that need to be understood. There is a machine called Cellbrite. This Cellbrite machine is owned by different and private companies. It is the only machine like this, these messages and all these things that are presented before the commission. This machine is the only machine that is able to selectively download. That is why I believe that at the later stage, perhaps this process, one will say a Section 205 should have been obtained. I believe there is no way, even if I could not come to the commission and say, this was my infiltration, this was whatever, there was no way anyone could prove messages of my cell phone or Senzo Mkunu before he could have either the Section 205 or the two phones. And Advocate Johnson testified that the phone of Ket Matlala was tampered with and some of the messages were deleted. Now,
So
to base commissioners, to base the process on the cell phone that was tampered with, on the cell phone that it means these messages will only suit the narrative of those who had the cell phone first before any other party could get the cell phone. So to say there's a message and then Kat is this particular person who will say this, who will say that. Commissioners, I was with Kat and I said I came here to help the commission. I may not be able to answer all questions, but I'm not lying. I will not just come here. Imagine a national commissioner say, I did not say I saw Kat giving him money, but Kat told me I lost a lot of money. And it's possible. This is 360 million. It's not 30 million, 20 million tender.
I accept
So
that
to
CAT has
think-
been paying vast
yeah.
amounts of money to SAPS officers, just not the ones who you are trying to implicate.
Yeah, but those messages may be deleted that implicates those transactions.
We'll address the issue of the authenticity of this cell phone at a later stage. But do you accept that if the cell phone is proven to be authentic and not tampered with, your version seems incredibly implausible?
Yeah, but there must be a section 205. You cannot say if I did not want to have the commissioners, I would come here and say these are not my messages. Full stop. Even if you can say you have them, you must be authorized by the law, unless if the outcome of this commission will not be somehow binding or be taken to the next level. Or
Mr. Mokoti, we will do that exercise, but I don't want you to speculate as to what the outcome of it may be now. Can we move to a different topic, which is your relationship with the minister?
Before you do that, Mr. Shaskasi. Yes.
Yeah. For the record, Mr. Shaskasi, please indicate when you're moving on to a. So
Yes, I am going to move to a different topic now.
If we have questions on that segment, we may put them.
Mr. Mkosi, the last part of what you've said, you say you are here and you are presenting your evidence to help the commission. Now, you told us yesterday, and you're repeating now, that Mr. Matala told you that he gave General Mkwanazi a bag. I think that's what you said, in Durban. You remember that?
Something, yeah.
Something like that. You remember that? Now, you haven't investigated that. You haven't put to us evidence of the truthfulness, one, of your conversation with Mr. Matala that you allege, and two, that what he told you is in fact true. We don't have facts. We are a fact-finding body as a commission. You've made that allegation. How do you figure that helps the commission in executing its mandate?
All I'm saying is I came here to give my side of the story. Now, for one to say I'm misdirecting or this is a misdirection, when I say this is what I know. If Kat was lying to me, he lied to me. But this is what I know. He told me. That's correct.
I'm not discussing misdirection. In fact, I come from a position of concern that you are making statements, even in this short exercise of cross-examination, none of which is backed up by any investigation on your part that you can produce the facts to us and say, here's proof. We know that you are close to Kat. You've told us you were with him. You don't have an affidavit from him that confirms that conversation, and that he told you, that you spoke to him and he told you what you say. We have only your say-so. And I'm concerned that we may well be grossly irresponsible and reckless as a commission that we've given you a platform where you're making all these statements and you present them as facts and you keep saying, I'm here to help the commission, when in fact they're not backed up by any facts or even basic investigation on your part. For me, as a commissioner, that's a matter of concern. Do you accept that you're making statements that you have, for whatever reason, you're not backing them up with facts, even just this little bit about payments to Mkwanazi and to Masim, to General Kele? It's not backed up by facts. You accept that?
I accept that, Commissioner.
And you accept that's not helpful to the commission if we don't have facts from you?
If the commission is a fact-finding body and I give you information, I'm giving it that commission can investigate. I gave example about the Boko Haram and the crime intelligence presentation.
No, allow me to stop you because I know you've got many topics that you're discussing. I'm worried that we don't end up discussing something that I wasn't raising. I'm raising with you a very specific thing. You said yesterday, Matala told you that he went to Umhlanga Ridge and that was General Mkwanazi's home. Now, if you've been following the work of the commission, you would know that General Mkwanazi testified that his home is in Hillcrest. So you'd have done a basic inquiry with Matala. Are you sure that's his house? Because in the commission, this is what he said. You did not do that. And then you come here, you don't interrogate him, but you come here and then you put it out there that payments were made at his house or something was given to him at his house and these allegations were made at his house in Mhlanga Ridge, and there's simply no evidence from you to back up those allegations. And these are serious, they have serious implications for people. And I think we should be concerned that you may be using this platform, at least to some extent, such as this. You're using this platform to make allegations like that, which you're not backing up. If you have a comment, you can, but I raise it as a matter of concern, listening to you on the back of this exchange with Mr. Chaskalson, that you're being challenged, that you said things that are not backed up by facts. And you have to accept there are no facts you've presented to us.
Oh, okay. Commissioners, I was talking about the presentation that is in the crime intelligence. I was trying to say that. With that, I was backing up my story that former Minister Bheki Cele knew Cat before. Even his picture was there. He came and he said he did not know Cat Matlala. Was that not sufficient to show that he knew him before 2024?
Okay, no, thank you. I think you've answered me. Thank you. Thank you.
Can we move quickly to deal with your relationship with the minister? You're on record publicly as saying that you ran the branding campaign for the minister when he was running for Secretary General for the ANC in 2017. Is that correct?
Yeah, in my province, that's correct.
In your province?
Yes.
So you've known the minister since at least 2017?
That's correct.
And you have a direct line to the minister. Your evidence yesterday was that you only call the chief of staff when you can't get to the minister directly.
That's correct.
And we saw multiple signal chats that you had with the minister over the period December, January 2024, 2025.
That's correct.
And the minister was calling you on several occasions, not you calling the minister.
As people knowing each other is possible. That's correct.
Can you say why the minister would have no knowledge of you, or why the minister would, when he was first asked about whether he knew you, said that he didn't?
I don't know why he said that. In fact, accept the answer that I'll give you what he said to me. I asked him, he said, the time when he was talking, there was a picture of somebody which was the impression was the picture was portrayed as if it's Brown Mokhotsi. And he said, I don't know this person because it was a Zoom meeting from what he told me. But when he heard it correctly, and then it is say, I don't know Brown Mokhotsi as an associate. I know him as a comrade from Northwest. That's what he said.
See. Let's talk about your relationship with Mr. Matlala. Do you recall the interdict that you spoke about yesterday when your foundation interdicted the Northwest Health Department around a tender?
That's correct.
Can we go to the exhibit bundle and the judgment in that interdict? If we can go to page 14 in the exhibits bundle.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
So you just switched to a different brand of baby toiletries, and you're still getting toiletries gently formulated to moisturize and protect, from shampoo, body wash and baby oil to powder and lotions with mild ingredients like lavender and chamomile for everyday use. Because you made a clever switch to Click's made for baby products with Click's trusted quality and great value. When you switch, it just clicks. Switch and save only at Clicks.
Afternoon Express is proud to be nominated in multiple categories at the 3rd Annual National Film and TV Awards taking place on Saturday, the 22nd of November. And you can add your voice by voting. Visit nationalfilmacademy.com, register and vote for Afternoon Express in the Best Entertainment Show category, Palisa Tembe for Best TV Presenter, and myself, Ayanda Jitabete, for Best Female TV Personality and Celebrity Personality of the Year. Voting closes on the 20th of November at midday.
Extraordinary is built brick by digital brick. Vodacom Business powers strong businesses and thriving communities with scalable cloud, trusted security, smart AI, and IoT that connects what truly matters. This is how we're building a nation that's connected, empowered, and ready to lead. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together. The 19th Annual Chief Albert Luthuli Memorial Lecture will be delivered by the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, on Thursday, the 20th of November 2025, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the MH Yusuf Hall, Westville Campus, University of KwaZulu-Natal. The theme for this year's lecture will be Reflecting on the Work of the World Trade Organization and its Global Impact. This will be a hybrid event streamed live on the University of KwaZulu-Natal's YouTube platform, as well as the Luthuli Museum Facebook page and YouTube channel. Tune in to the National Pulse with Ashraf Garda, coming to you live from the lecture. The annual Luthuli Museum Lecture is a partnership event between the Luthuli Museum, Luthuli Foundation, Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, and the University of KwaZulu-Natal. For more information, contact Zinhle Nyembe on 032-559-6824 or email profficer@luthulimuseum.org.za or Pam Adams on adamsp@ukzn.ac.za. Visit www.luthulimuseum.org.za.
Introducing South Africa's most affordable way to get hearing aids. At Specsavers Audiology, you can now get a pair of hearing aids from as little as 599 Rand per month. Hearing clearly shouldn't be a luxury. Enjoy life's moments from 599 Rand per month. Test your hearing today and join the conversation with Specsavers Audiology. T's and C's apply.
The best of the good life is coming back in 2026. But first off, Billings, Jonathan, Fez, and myself reunite for a road trip to the top beaches in SA. Kralbai, Camps Bay, Boulders Beach, and Nature's Valley. Don't miss the Top Billing Reunion Special, Thursday 27th November at 7 p.m., with repeat Saturday 29th at 3 and Sunday the 30th at 1 p.m. S3, open up.
What's one more thing you can do for a child today? Could it be one clinic visit for their next vaccination?
Or say something that will really tickle my brain.
Maybe one healthy lunchbox snack to fuel their day.
Or say something that makes me feel good about myself.
Or one strong no to alcohol in your home.
Just one thing today could change our tomorrow. Visit holdmyhand.org.za.
On the top stories, SA Red Cross Society response to floods in the Free State and Duduzile's deleted media post recovered. For SAFM News, I am Ondela Mbana and a very good afternoon. The South African Red Cross Society says it is responding to severe flooding in Heilbron in the Free State. More than 200 houses have been damaged and 5 completely destroyed. Several families have been evacuated and are receiving emergency support. The Red Cross says in a statement that their teams are working with local disaster authorities, distributing food, clean water, hygiene kits and blankets. The organization is calling on the public to donate and help affected families. The Durban High Court has heard that some of the social media posts that MK Party MP Duduzile Zuma Sambudla that had been deleted have been recovered. That's the evidence of media law expert Emma Sadler in Zuma Sambudla's terrorism trial stemming from the 2021 unrest. The court previously heard from a police expert that Zuma Sambudla had deleted some of her posts after the unrest. Sadler says one recovered video shows a person shooting at an election poster of ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa. In the background, someone remarked Asia. Defense advocate Dalim Bofu objected to these recovered videos being played in court, saying they did not receive them in time. The NPA in the Free State says a Kroonstad pastor has been sentenced to life imprisonment for raping an 11-year-old girl. NPA spokesperson Mujalifa Senokutwane says the 43-year-old man abused his position as a trusted family friend and targeted the child while her mother was at work. He says DNA linked the pastor to the crime and he later admitted to the rape during cross-examination. Senokutwane says the court has also ordered that the pastor's name be entered into the sexual offences register and declared him unfit to own a firearm. The case of alleged gang boss Nafiz Modak has been postponed until tomorrow in the High Court in Cape Town due to one of the accused, Tofik Brown, falling ill. Modak, along with 14 co-accused, faced over 100 charges, including the murder of top cop Carl Kinia. This week, the court has been hearing evidence on the pinging of cell phones by one of the accused, Zain Killian. The court has heard that at least 5 code names were used by Killian when he used pings to track people allegedly on behalf of Nafiz Modak. This emerged during cross-examination. Judge Robert Henney reluctantly agreed to the postponement.
There's no connection, direct connection at this stage. Connection is actually was already presented with regards to the other evidence. And possibly we need what accused number 5 might say, if he's going to come and testify, and whether under those circumstances, whether it's that evidence is admissible after section 105A proceedings again.
A non-profit organization dealing with TB and HIV has called on world leaders to prioritize improving funding models for tuberculosis. Leaders from G20 countries are meeting in Johannesburg at the weekend as the first time the G20 is meeting on African soil.
An estimated 249,000 people in the country were diagnosed with various strains of TB in 2024. This is according to an NPO TB HIV Care. Its CEO Harry Hosler says more funding is needed.
Health ministers from G20 countries are geared to discuss challenges that include TB treatment and antiretroviral therapy for TB HIV core infection. The meeting will ensure commitment to building sustainable systems for manufacturing, procurement, and equitable distribution of vaccines, supported by global collaboration mechanisms such as the World Health Organization. The media is not yet allowed inside the meeting hall due to technical preparations.
Recapping the top story, the South African Red Cross Society says it is responding to severe flooding in Heilbron in the Free State. More than 200 houses have been damaged and 5 completely destroyed. I am Onde Lambana for SAFM News Headlines at 3:30.
In sports this hour, CAF fine Orlando Pirates, Blitzbox set to make amends in Dubai, and Federer to be inducted into International Tennis Hall of Fame. More details at 3:30.
From the first bullet fired to the last betrayal uncovered, the battle for the Dutton legacy has left blood on the land and scars on every soul. We've seen loyalty tested, families torn apart, and enemies made in the name of power, pride, and survival. Now, as the dust settles and new threats rise, the question remains, how far will the Duttons go to protect their empire? Yellowstone, Season 5, the fight isn't over, it's just begun. Starts Tuesday, 18th November at 7 p.m. only on S3. This November, step into a world few have ever seen. From the smallest creatures on epic adventures in Big Little Journeys, starting 2nd November, to the frozen frontiers of our planet in Frozen Planet 2, starting 23rd November. Every Sunday at 6 p.m., discover beauty, danger, and the magic of life on Earth like never before. The best in nature dockies, only on S3. S3, open up.
This November, SFM proudly presents the 3rd annual lecture.
I do want to say that in the public service, there are also checks and balances. The fact that people may not have applied doesn't mean it's not there.
SFM invites you to our 3rd annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser Muleketi. The theme of the lecture is confronting inequality, corruption and unemployment.
Let's hold everyone accountable and to standards, whether you have a GNU or not.
The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Four Ways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda on SAFM. You're listening to the National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
From the first bullet fired to the last betrayal uncovered, the battle for the Dutton legacy has left blood on the land and scars on every soul. We've seen loyalty tested, families torn apart, and enemies made in the name of power, pride, and survival. Now, as the dust settles and new threats rise, the question remains, how far will the Duttons go to protect their empire? Yellowstone, Season 5, the fight isn't over, it's just begun. Starts Tuesday, 18th November at 7 p.m. only on S3.
The Expresso Morning Show has been nominated in 5 categories in the 3rd Annual National Film and Television Awards South Africa.
It all happens on Saturday, the 22nd of November 2025 at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. And public voting is open from the 13th of October to the 20th of November at midday.
So visit nationalfilmacademy.com, register and vote for Expresso Morning Show in all 5 categories.
Then, of course, catch us weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. right here on S3.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives.